like
Not
the
so
evil ones
much.
or something?
I mean, you're
'Cause
talking
they're-
about editing stuff. Like,
mean,
you're
'cause your
really,
style-
you're pretty
yeah.
quick at, like, writing a whole thing down and
Yeah.
then recording it.
Right, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, it's that you know, I just have a lot of general knowledge about things, so it doesn't take me a long time to research, you know,
Right.
and I know exactly where to research when I do. So there are times when I spend more time on it when I'll like go out and try to find interviews and stuff. But like with anime, there's not a lot of that in existence. Like
yeah.
with YMS, I imagine he has to go through like, you know, hours of behind the scenes documentaries. He probably watches all these like event like with the After Earth video. I was like, where did you find all this shit?
Yeah, I know,
You know?
it's crazy.
He's got like all these TV interviews with Will Smith and shit, and I'm like, with anime, you've got like the one translated interview that exists on the internet. You know, anything
that's-
that comes out goes through ANN, so it takes 5 minutes to find it all.
Yeah, you know, I'm experiencing this now, making a video about a game currently. But like the reason that I focused on anime, well, I mean, I think I generally have more of a like historic attachment to anime. I don't know, I've got strong feelings for anime, but my point is, like when I was thinking about how to make the channel, I was deciding should I focus more on anime or more on video games. And like my main reason, the thing that pushed it over the top was definitely like I do not want to have to fucking play a game and get footage and record it and like download it. I'm like, if I can just torrent a show, that's like a million times easier, way better. And right now, like I just had to replay to get the exact footage I need this game like several times. It's taken hours, so it's like, you know.
Yeah, that's
bullshit.
exactly what I like. Why I don't want to do more game videos, because it just takes so long. Not just because games
Imagine
are
you're
longer.
making a Bloodborne video. In that game, if you make a mistake, you have to play the whole game again. It's
Right.
like, Jesus Christ.
And
Those-
that's well, the thing is, like, for me, I prefer, and I wish more game videos would be this anyways, and we kind of talked about this in the review rules video, that, like, I want to see more game videos that are just about specific aspects of a game.
Sure.
And I think you could get way, like, I want to be able to play a 20-hour game once and get all the footage, and then make 3 videos out of it instead of making one. And then it would feel a lot more justified and a lot less, like, with the Dark Souls and Bloodborne video I just put out, like, it was about like very specific things, and it was very general. So for a lot of it, I just used whatever, and I took like 45 minutes of my own Bloodborne footage just of showing off all the weapons, because I just wanted you to have like a sense of how they all worked, and getting like a few of the mechanics that I needed. And then other than that, all of the footage was either from the Let's Plays that we did of Dark Souls and Bloodborne, or just like cutscene videos, because every cutscene in the game is online, you know. So
of course.
I would just search all the cutscenes, or pull other people's playthroughs, because those are games that people have a lot of Let's Plays of and stuff like that. So yeah, just sort of cobbling together whatever footage I can find. But certainly, if I was doing like a comprehensive analysis of Bloodborne, I would have to either play through it 5 fucking times and have, you know, 70, no, probably over 100 hours of footage to sort through.
Like at the very least, if you want like the 3 endings, that's 3 playthroughs right there, and you can't go back. There's no going back.
Fucking
The whole recording a lot of gameplay footage is the entire reason why GRPJ exists on my channel.
Right,
because you have it.
Well, I mean, I don't want to record a whole JRPG because they're like the longest games ever for a review.
Oh, you meant because you don't have the footage, because that's the show where you don't show anything. It's just like
I don't show any footage. It's an excuse.
Oh, right. Okay, I see.
And then,
but
for other things, I would just play the whole game, and since they're not usually too long, it would be like, I don't know.
I do think a lot of people are being like, because I know that, and Nate, I know you're the kind of guy who you really want every video to be like your perfect vision and to be like a perfect video. But
true,
like,
but that doesn't mean it's an all-encompassing thing. It's
I think it's overboard with a lot of people, because I think we've gotten to a point where YouTube videos, like, they have to impress you, but they don't have to be perfect anymore.
Right.
I think there was a time where if you wanted someone to sit down for 20 minutes, then you had to like be sequelitis and really blow their mind with like animation and stuff.
Yeah.
But like Noah Caldwell Gervais, that dude does like 45-minute videos with no editing in his audio, and the video is like, you can tell that he'll just like turn on a game, play it for like 45 minutes and then just slap the footage he has in there. You know, like it very rarely matches up to what he's saying, which as a result for me, I don't usually watch the video, and therefore I usually completely lose track of what he's saying because it's so unedited that I just can't possibly give a fuck.
So what we're saying really is like if you want to get your own obstacles out of your way if you're going to do something like this. Like my approach is obviously the wrong one, the wrong one for making YouTube footage, for making YouTube videos.
Well, I don't know that it's the wrong one. It's just that I'm just saying that like these days you can do less and get away with it, depending on like, I mean. Ultimately, what you're doing, the reason you're doing your videos that way is not to do it smart. It's because it's what you want to do.
That's right. I got a job and I work at it so that I can make the videos that I want to make.
Because if you just wanted this to be a business decition, then you would just fucking make 5-minute
make fucking Digibro videos, you know?
Right.
Nobody wants to do that, but...
Well, that's the funny thing, because in the month of January, like... You know, I finished writing and doing all the audio for my Asterisk War series, and they're all being edited by the Devu. Mm-hmm. So, like, in January, it was kind of like he could, like, all I had to do was let him make videos for me, and I was going to make enough money off of those. It was like, as long as he made 3 videos, I'd make enough, and I knew he would do that, even though I have to pay him, but, like, you know, I made a decent amount through ad revenue, and, like, I should be doing a lot more, because I should be trying to have, like, a buffer of money. Like, I should be trying to make enough money that I can save some, or, you know... think about my future and put some money into my future, but I was just like, I can skate by letting Devu edit 3 videos for me, and I can do, like, I put out some stuff that was all, like, non-patron videos, you know, stuff that, like, wasn't deep enough for me to patron it, because I'm very particular. I'll only patron something if I think it's, like, up to snuff. But, so then this month it was like, all right, I gotta get back in the game. I gotta actually make one of my own videos. And I wrote that Dark Souls and Bloodborne one, and I was so scared of editing it. I was like, oh, it's gonna be a nightmare. The video's like 12 minutes long, you know, and the editing took like maybe 4 hours.
Oh, that's a dream.
But like, there was so much more of me putting it off because I thought it was gonna be so much worse than it was. You know, I was like, oh, I can't possibly, I'm gonna need beer, and I drank like half a beer and then did the whole first half of the video in one sitting, and I was like, oh, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah. Like when I made that
a lot of it's
just
go ahead, just starting is the hardest part.
That's
psyching yourself
true.
up.
It's definitely true.
Well, it's a lot worse when you don't know exactly what the footage is going to be, or like what you're going to have to put in there. Because when you know exactly what it's going to be, because me and Devu have both taken up this method where we download everything we need before we start, and then it's helpful in 2 ways. Firstly, that you can just plug everything in very easily, and secondly, that it's incentivized for you to finish the video faster because you need to get all these fucking files off your computer.
Right.
So like with, for instance, the Hideaki Anno video, where there was like footage from everything he ever worked on. So I downloaded like every single thing he'd ever done, and I knew exactly which clips I wanted for which part. So editing that didn't take very long in spite of how long the video was, because I had all the clips right there. And I needed them off my computer.
That is a very wise way of doing things. I usually find myself downloading materials like that, but I pretty much always just try to get what I know, like the base thing I'll need, like game footage or like the whole show or whatever or whatever that's going to be, and then just the way that I do shit, I end up editing in a lot of extra shit. So I have to go through all that whole process of downloading.
That's what I used to do, but like. Because it used to be that I'd get to a point in the video where it's like, okay, well, nothing in the show really reflects this, and now I got to go find something else. So now when I first start, I'm like, all right, this line in the dialogue I know is not in the show. Let's go find a clip before we start editing, because it really takes you out of the groove of editing when you're like putting shit together and then suddenly you hit a roadblock and you don't have the footage and you have to go find it somewhere, and it's like you completely stop what you're doing to make something else.
Man, it's just I do that. My whole editing process is just a continuous series of that.
Yeah,
so,
that's what it used to be for me, and I'm glad that me and Devu sort of changed gears a bit, and like now the only stuff that he really has to like, because he puts together a document for all these Asterisk War videos where he'll like write down everything he'll need for each line, and then me and him go through it and like find all the shit. So like if there's a bunch of shows that because there's a lot of, I make references to lots of things that he doesn't know because he's not an anime fan, you know, like, or not a long time anime fan anyway.
I've been wondering how he dealt with that.
Well, in the early days, because like a lot of the older videos he did for me, it was interesting because he would use stuff that I'd never even seen before. Like in the one where I explained what is anime and what isn't, like he brings in all these like Tezuka clips from shows I'd never heard of because he was doing his own research. Like I would write the video and then he would have to go research the video and learn it all for himself, you know, and it had some interesting results. But for these Asterisk War ones, when there's parts where I'm like, you know, I'll say something like, in other generic anime of this type, you know, and then he has to ask me, okay, what are other generic anime of this type? And I'll give him a list of like 5 shows, and he'll go download clips from those
I'll
shows.
come to you sometimes and be like, I need like a super robot moment. Like, what can I use? I did that a couple times for the Gurren Lagann one.
Yeah, for the Get a Robo clips.
And the G Gundam, which was actually one of my favorite moments in that whole thing. The fucking King of Hearts. Holy shit, that was like the coolest thing that ever happened.
That was amazing, yeah.
I need to watch that show, only I don't want to sink fucking, 24 hours of my life into watching that show. It's fucking long. It's like 50
episodes, so 16 and a half hours, probably. Jesus 17
Christ.
hours.
That's a long-ass show for...
You can skip a lot of it. Like, there's a lot of episodes that if you can tell early on that it's not going to be, like... Because there's a lot of just stupid one-off
this
episodes.
is a good example of something that incentivizes procrastination, because I'm the kind of guy who is really uncomfortable with skipping anything in a show when I'm going to watch it. And as a result, I keep being like, I'll do it later, I'll get to that thing. I wish that I'd seen G Gundam by now, but I haven't, because I've got this obsession where I'm like, I have to watch it all. It's 50 episodes. It's a long-ass time.
And for me, it's all about measuring, like, how much do I give a fuck, and how much am I going to miss out on?
Yeah,
because you know, unlike you, I spoil myself for a lot of stuff, and a big part of that, like, you know, I make it sound sometimes like I just go out of my way to spoil myself, but it's more like I hang out in the community for long enough, and you're gonna get spoiled for everything. Like, there's not a gamer alive who doesn't know about Eris dying in Final Fantasy VII because it was spoiled like a week after the game came out in a magazine. Right, so if you even read gaming magazines, you know.
A bunch of cocknobs who would do that. Fuck them.
Right. And it became like a really infamous spoiler that everyone knew it. Right. So like no one's going into that game not knowing that. And like there's a lot of stuff that I just glimpse on TV because I grew up G Gundam was on Cartoon Network when I was like 13.
Toonami,
yeah, so like I'd seen a bunch of it. I got the point, you know. And so when me and my friend finally like marathoned the whole show, then there was a lot of episodes where we'd be like, "Oh, this is an episode about Neo Mexico, which is never going to be relevant again." Yeah, let's skip that, you know. Because a lot of them are like
racist, dog. That's racist.
Well, a lot of them are like really corny sob stories. You know, it'll be like, "Oh, Neo Mexico's sister was captured by the cartel, and he has to fight, and then it gets all emotional." Oh my God, Jesse Wood joins us.
Wow, that's really funny.
I'm here.
Oh, hey, what's up?
All right, Jesse. Now we got to sync our audio with Jesse Wood. Okay. All right, on the count of 3, say procrastination. 1, 2, 3. Procrastination.
That sounded terrible.
It sounded...
Jesse, what have you been procrastinating on joining the podcast by doing?
I want to die.
You can't escape the dream through death.
Is that an answer? No, I guess
that's
not.
an answer.
Are you saying you're procrastinating on dying?
Yeah, just do it already, faggot.
Procrastinating on life because I'm dead inside.
I do like the idea of, like, you know, I've been wanting to kill myself for years, but it's just so much effort to load the shotgun.
That's like exactly. Well, that's not quite exactly the reason that guys like Sato and NHK don't do it. But at times they're like, man, I just want to die, but like, oh, it's such a fucking bother. Right. I don't want to go through all that shit. That's a different sort of thing, I guess, though.
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you guys, I have been the least motivated to do anything that I've been in years. It's been swell. Really? And by swell, I mean it's been hell.
Yeah.
Hell in a
I've
swell.
been pretty unmotivated myself. Well, you know, I was telling that story earlier. Jesse wasn't here, but I was talking about how in January, like, Devu had all my work covered, so all I did was play. Like, it was kind of cool because I finally got around to playing all the Souls games just because I didn't feel like I had to do anything, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do this. It wasn't even like I thought I was just gonna play Bloodborne, and then play The Witcher 3, because I had, like, those are the 2 games that I really wanted to play, and then I got so hooked on Bloodborne that I was like, I have to finally do Dark Souls, and then after I did Dark Souls, I was like, I have to finally do Demon Souls, and then
you got to Dark Souls 2, and you're like, I do not have to play Dark Souls 2.
That's exactly what happened. I'm still struggling with it. I kind of want to try to play the PS3 version and see if it's less frustrating than Scholar of the First Sin, but I suspect
I'd
it's
have
not.
thought they'd have made it better, because like it was already pretty shit in the original version.
Yeah, well, they tightened up a lot of things, but they
I
also
want to
added
talk about
a
Dark
lot of
Souls
enemies.
too. It's stupid.
It is stupid.
Yeah,
That's
Dark
true.
Souls
I do want
2 is a
what I
million
wanna talk
times
about-
better game than Bloodborne, which is a piece
Jesus.
of shit.
Oh, my,
Oh,
how
no.
can you even
Worst
say
game
that shit? How
I've
can you
ever
say
we
played
that?
not-
in my life.
Jesse is an advocate of he's a staunch.
It'll be
Dark
okay.
Souls
Jesse
2
will
defender
beat
for some
Bloodborne
reason.
one day, and he'll like it.
Suck. You know what? I don't even
Jesse
want
Wood,
I don't even want to argue. You're right. It's the best
where
game
you were
ever.
singing about how fucking hard it was and how much you loved it raping you in your face constantly. Who are you? What happened to that handsome
Nate,
young man? Who is
shut
this
up.
guy?
No,
Shut
but no,
up.
Jesse did make a good point earlier when because I knew the answer to that when I said we were arguing earlier for the people listening to the podcast, and I said like, what happened to the guy who sang the song about liking games that are hard in the Demon Souls video? And I know exactly what happened to him. He got older and doesn't have time for shit anymore, and isn't into doing that. Which is the same for me. That's why, like, I've always said that I don't think any game is hard if it's a good game, because the only thing that makes a game hard is that you have to learn how to play it and do the same thing until you know what to do. And
Sure.
like, the hard thing is just having the patience for it and wanting it, you know? Like, I guess there's some games that are probably like just so like hard in terms of dexterity that like, you know, like if it's a certain kind of platformer game where you just have to be able to move your hands fast enough, like I don't, or
DDR
not even
is hard for
platformer.
really fat people.
Yeah,
you know?
like I'm completely uncoordinated, so DDR is really difficult. I mean, I guess I could eventually learn it, but I don't know if I'd ever be able to move my legs that fast without like literally beefing up myself and getting strong for the sake of DDR, which again would make it easy. It's just a matter of what you're willing to put yourself through, you know? Like
I no longer have the patience for anything. I hate exerting any effort whatsoever for anything. I hate doing anything or having to do anything. I can't stand learning new things. It's like poison to me, the concept of that I might have to learn something new or like read a set of instructions or work my way around some...
I just for this very podcast, I had to go figure out how to make like audio to keyframe transitions and animate that thing, and then I taught Gib.
I don't even know what that
I
is.
taught Devu, or I showed them the shit. Look at us, Jesse. We're all learning things. You gotta get out there and mix it up.
With Bloodborne, though, like, because I was in the same... I didn't play Bloodborne for all that time because I thought it was too hard, and I just... Like, I played it when it first came out, and the loading screens were really, really bad.
Yeah,
and
I lived that
so
life.
Every time I died, I was just like, I don't want to play this anymore. You know, the loading screens are way too fucking long. And then the reason I ended up playing it was just that I learned everything about it from watching Victor play and watching other people play, and I was like, well... What I came to realize is that game is so much fun just to play that I didn't even care if I made it like anywhere. Like I figured that I could just play the early, like every level over and over again, and it would always be fun because the combat is fun. So that's kind of what I did. I just played through the first area until I was so overpowered that there was nothing that they could do to me, and then I went to the next area and I played that until I was so overpowered that there was nothing they could do to me.
Yeah.
And then by that point, I was so overpowered that the entire game was easy. So like, you know, I never had to fight a boss more than like 3 or 4 times at the absolute most, and just kind of steamrolled the whole game.
There was a guy in a no. Go ahead. Go ahead, Gib.
Well, what I was trying to talk about like ages ago is, conversely to all of you, who are all feeling very unmotivated, I have recently
I'm not feeling unmotivated.
But you said you were. You said you were like unmotivated for stuff.
I never said that shit. They were saying it. I never
Okay,
heard
whatever.
that.
Jesse, I think.
Anyway.
Well, whatever, Hippo. What were you saying?
yeah.
I have become much more motivated to do stuff, like progress in some sort of work every day, much more recently than I have ever in my whole life. I've been going into to do like I'm at university and I'm doing an animation for my final film, for my final year. And I've been going in every day to the library to work on it from, I don't know, like 12 to 6, and then coming back and then playing games, and it's been
that's
cool.
the dream.
You know, Hippo, I remember a few years ago when you were always talking about how unmotivated you are and a lot of the problems you had, and I kept saying, you're gonna turn 22 or 23 and then you're just gonna suddenly be motivated.
Yeah. And I am 22 now, so...
Yeah, because I remember like having this conversation, because I felt the same way.
And then you'll turn 26, and you'll never be motivated again.
It's just like, well, because when you're, up until your early 20s, your brain is just like not finished developing yet. And for me, like when I was a teenager and in my, like when I was like 20 and 21, I just had no desire to do anything. And then it just kind of like clicked, and then I was like, oh, now I want to do stuff all the time. Like now I don't ever want to not be doing something.
Well, it's not that I love doing. I mean, I do love doing stuff, but it's right. always been difficult to get into the groove,
the
mindset.
Yeah.
So
it's weird.
I've just been figuring out how to force myself into that mindset.
Getting into a pattern like that is the best thing. The most productive time of my entire life, by far, was when me and my brother were doing T-BAP episodes every Saturday morning. We would crank those motherfuckers out, and it was we were highly motivated. We were fucking achieving our dreams. It was awesome. It was the best.
As unmotivated as Jesse is, he is still producing a lot of content, like, without even trying to.
Yeah,
like,
I should rephrase it. It's not that I'm unmotivated. It's that I'm sick and tired of being motivated. And I wish I could be unmotivated, but
it's
I
pretty
can't.
Played out.
It's like an addiction. Creativity is a serious addiction for me. I can't stop it.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I felt when I played all the Souls games, because like it was like I had to physically rip myself away from that obsession with like I have to be making something, you know.
And it just gets me. It gets to a point where I just realize it's too much effort that I'm like. It's too much effort to organize my thoughts, because my thoughts are just like a swirling ball of chaos. It takes effort to organize it into like concise little videos and shit. And I realize like it gets to the point where I'll never be able to make videos as fast as I can write videos. So no matter what I do, I'll always have a backlog of like 50,000 fucking ideas that I want to do. So eventually, I just gotta say, someone come here and kill me. Come to my house and put a gun in my asshole and pull the trigger. So that my
if that really is an issue, you should consider getting an editor or something. I don't know how that would work, but you know.
For me, like all the time that for all the time you see videos coming out on my channel, all the time I'm not making them is me obsessing over what I should be making. Like, every time I finish a video, my immediate thought is, okay, what's the next one?
Right.
And then, and then it's just this long period of figuring out what the next one... Because I have a lot of...
There's no celebration when you post a video.
Yeah, no.
There's not.
There's a window of, like, a couple hours afterward where you're at peace.
There's a window where
I live for.
For me, it's as long as the comments last. That's like, because basically comments typically last about 2 days before you stop getting new ones, or they slow down considerably. And like there's that initial point when you post a video and then you get like a couple hundred comments. At least for me, I do, because I get a lot of comments on my videos. And like that early period where I'm just reading all the new comments as they come in and responding to them really actively, that's like the big come period where it's just like, okay, I have finished this thing. It's done. Now I get to enjoy it, and then it's immediately.
My sense of peace only lasts until I see the first comment.
That's a window we can believe in.
Well, I have to. Most of my comments are positive, so for me, it's always like